say I want to first of all thank everyone for being here this evening and to come together as a community. I want you to know I think the Somali community is a wonderful community. I love each and every one of you. And to see us all come together to celebrate education in the Somali community, I am so proud of you and proud of everyone here. Jabril, SomaliCAN is an important organization, very important organization. When I think about the name SomaliCAN, Somali, the great country, the great culture, where you all come from, and then the word can. Can, we can do anything. We can achieve. We can excel, we can believe, and we can make it right here in Columbus if we just work hard, do the right thing, and we can make it in this city.
My name is Jabril Hersi. I am the Executive Director of SomaliCAN. SomaliCAN stands for the Somali Community Access Network. In collaboration with the Somali Education Association, SomaliCAN is the organization that sponsored the Somali graduation program, the first annual Somali Ohio graduation in Central Ohio for students who graduated from high schools, colleges, and universities. We brought together about 150 students who were awarded certificates of appreciation for their hard work. Their parents were recognized for contributing to the success of their children. We invited all the local leadership in the city and the state and the county. We invited people who held senior positions in the Somali government, including the man who composed the Somali national anthem, Ali Mire Awale. Parents were involved in this whole process. They recruited students to come to the graduation. Our event was in response to the demands by the parents to have some kind of community involvement in the education of children. Many parents come to us, tell us that their children do not like school anymore, that their children are not doing well in school, and they do not have the resources to help them to succeed. And as a result, this idea of doing a graduation came up thanks to Dr. Abdinur Mahmoud at the Ohio Department of Education, Professor Abdi Karim Gole at the Ohio State University is the Somali language professor at OSU, and Ahmed Mohammed, who is consultant within the Columbus, Ohio area, and SomaliCAN and its staff. We were able to spearhead an effort to bring together the parents and leaders from all aspects of the community, the religious leaders, the academic leaders, the business leaders were all on board to celebrate academic achievement. The event was for both Somalis and non-Somalis, and most Somalis are Muslims who pray 5 times a day. One of the prayers, the Asr prayer, came within the time frame of the event, and the Imam at the biggest mosque in Columbus, Sheikh Adam, who is the Imam at Ibn Taymiyyah Mosque, led the prayers within the Hilton Hotel for those who wanted to pray. The rest were on their seats, and there was some entertainment, photographs and historic pictures that were taken when Somalia was at peace, that they were shown during the prayer time. So everyone was accommodated while the Somalis prayed. This is more than just something to make money. We never made a penny out of it. The goal was to help the community to celebrate education, to consider education as the biggest investment in their children's lives, in the young people who are Somali, who are in Central Ohio. We were able to secure funding from local schools and institutions and non-profits and individuals and Somali businesses, including the Habshil, Tawakkal Express, Hodan Global, Al Mustaqbal. All those money transfer agencies were able to contribute money to this noble project, and we were able to secure both some funding for the project as well as scholarships from a local lawyer who works with Somalis. His name is Russell Flickinger, and his law office contributed scholarships in the amount of $500 for 6 students, and the total amount was $3,000. The 6 students were selected randomly this year, but next year the hope is to have the best performing students, those with the highest GPAs, recognized and awarded the scholarships. Music by the Durdur band, which is represented by the Somali star Zahra Dawo and Abdinur Daljir. We had a cultural show by Dirios, who collects Somali artifacts of all kinds. Traditional tools and materials were presented in front of the Hilton, and the political leaders and other community members who had the chance and the opportunity to see those cultural tools by themselves and to admire them. We had a book show by Mohammed Rashid, who is an author, Somali author. He was able to bring hundreds of books, both for sale and for show, to the event. We had volunteers who are helping with the cultural show and the book fair and the registration of guests and all of that. Yes, at the Ohio State University we had sponsorships from 2 departments, the Center for African Studies and the African American and African Studies program, as represented by Professor Laura Joseph and Dr. Kalu. And they both spoke at the event. They were both awarded medals for their contribution to the well-being of the African community in large and the Somali community in particular. Those are professors and academicians who are really engaged and who are really willing to do everything to improve the lives of new Americans.
I'm Laura Joseph. I'm the Assistant Director in the Center for African Studies at Ohio State University. Well, I started out in resettlement, so met many people from East Africa in particular. About 6 years ago, came to OSU to work with the center, and a lot of our outreach activities have involved the Somali community, and increasingly we've been able to promote our Somali studies on campus, particularly the study of Somali language and Somali history, language and culture courses. As part of all that, we've also been privileged to host all kinds of speakers from the Somali community, both local and international, everybody from, of course, the president who came last year to different poets, Gadier, people in public health like Edna Aden. We're really privileged to have the community here as a magnet for these people, and then to have them come to campus and have a forum for all kinds of discussion. We've worked a lot with the student organizations, and I've really enjoyed that. And through that, you know, when you work on a campus like that, in some way you come to think of all the students as your students and your children. This event for me was amazing in ways I didn't expect it to be. I knew it was going to be a nice ceremony, and you know, we'd have good food and some good speakers and so forth. But just to see the numbers of students together in one place, in a place this nice, in a ceremony where it was clear that people had brought together a lot of resources, both human resources and financial resources, it really showed me how far this community has come. I was really touched. And many of the students, I know that they're graduating in all types of fields. There's people, a lot of people in the health sciences, a lot of people in business, international studies, social work, across the board. There's also a lot of Somali students who take Somali language courses, and I think that's a really good thing. I'm hoping, we're all hoping, that some of this generation will decide to study Somali professionally, to become Somali language teachers and scholars, because that's an area, of course, in academia that we cherish, but we're also very worried that there's going to be a gap and that the older generation is not being replaced by a newer generation. So that's kind of, if I were making the commencement speech, you know, that would be one of my challenges to them. But that aside, we're so proud of them. whether they work here locally and become part of, building this nation, making it strong, or whether they become part of the reverse brain drain, if you will, and go home and do things, or whether they do a little bit of both. We're just really proud of them.
Graduation is set to become an annual event. The second annual Ohio Somali graduation event will be held at the Hilton Easton on June 24, 2011, and that is the same venue that we had this graduation. This has inspired many people, including the educators, the teachers, who were able to form an advocacy organization. The Somali Education Association was formed within the day of the graduation. We held a teachers workshop where the teachers exchanged ideas and opinions on how to best address the educational challenges that Somali students face. And they came up with this advocacy idea where they put their resources and energies and talents together to meet the needs of the students, to meet the needs of the parents, and to meet the needs of the teachers for professional development and other resources. So Somali Education Association will be the connection between the various parts within the community that are engaged in education. This has also sprung a leadership within the Somali community with the support of Somali Education Association and SomaliCAN. We have been recognized for doing a great job by the White House. The President of the United States sent out 5 medals and 5 certificates of appreciation to activists who are busy planning this event for the past 6 months. The Congresswoman Mary Jo Kilroy presented us with a certificate of recognition from the Congress. The mayor also awarded us a certificate of recognition for doing a great job. The commissioners recognized the job we did. This puts us in a new stage. It changes the perception of the larger community about the Somali community. It also changes the perception of the Somali community in that we are no longer simple refugees who are just here to do some work and just leave just like that. We are just Americans who are powerful, who have votes just like any other Americans, and we are committed to improving our lives and the lives of those around us by educating our young ones and by becoming productive citizens of this country.
Came here today for the Somali 2010 graduation. It means a lot for us kids because usually when we go to schools there's not that many Somali people that are actually graduating with you. So when you come here you see all of the graduates from 2010 coming together, and it means a lot to us. We're part of SomaliCAN. We help out. We're not necessarily part of the organization, but we have our own organization and we like mix a lot and we help each other out, but that's mainly what we do.
This was important at many levels. Number one, this was to draw a positive image of the Somali community. It's not a community that just has negative things and problems occurring. Media always covers things like the youth who went back to Somalia from Minnesota, radicalization within the Somali youth, things like that are the main things that are covered. And from Somalia, it's the civil war, the war between Al-Shabaab and the government, the pirate problem. All these things are always in the media. We wanted to show that some sections of the community, including the Central Ohio Somali community, are really thriving. The community is doing well. We are academically excelling. We are heading to the top, and we are working on our way to realizing the American dream. That was the goal of this event, and hopefully we motivated many young people to go to college. I received phone calls from some of the graduates who asked me for advice on which college, which university they should be attending, what the requirements for college admission would be, things like that. And that helps us to become a better community. At a personal level, I was a teacher by profession. That was my first profession. And my education, both my high school and my college education, was paid for by a scholarship. And that shows that I'm from a broken system. Somalia was at a civil war at the time when I would have been going for my college and university education. And I was lucky enough to be the only person who was taken out of a refugee camp and taken to Nairobi for college. And I understand what it's like not to have the opportunity, and what it's like to have the opportunity but not to take advantage of it. And we wanted to motivate these young people to do their best and to be there.